about, and they wanted me to share a little bit about, my recent milestone of reaching 50K. And oh boy, I got to tell you, that has been the most humbling experience I've ever experienced, really. I've been at WFG since last April. And when I came here, I was already licensed in the industry, the traditional industry. And, I'm super excited. But when I came, I was just like, wow, this is an awesome platform. It's just not what me and my colleague James ever thought that we heard about. And so I just knew, wow, I'm going to talk to people. They're going to be excited. Oh, this is going to be a breeze. And coming from an HR background and real estate and things like that, when you're in corporate America, you don't do something, you get fired pretty much, right? That's just how it goes. But here, when someone says, hey, I want to do this, I want to do that, and then it's like, everything stops. At the beginning, I spent so much time like, why this, why that? Instead of now, because I didn't pick up this for like 6 months. 6 months. All I was saying was, why this, why that? But when I turned my language around and started to say, how do I do this? How do I get the 80%ers to move? How do I, match someone? When I started to change my language, that's when my business started to change. So just in a nutshell, I am just super excited about WFG. Like, this is just, oh my God, just God sent, and I'm just on fire. I came to WFG because I really understood the building aspect of it. And I thought it was going to be easy, but nothing that's great in life is going to be easy. But the reward, I see so many successful people here, and this business format system works. I mean, it's a little raggedy, so excuse me, I have a lot of notes that I've written here, but I've just become a student of the business format system. And when I started, I'm telling you, this is no cliche or anything like that. But when I started to really study the business format system and just really to get in line with everyone, the leadership, and stop asking why and start asking how, that's really in a nutshell how my business has turned around. So I'm just super excited to work with all of you and just be here on this platform. And I just want to encourage you. Many of you may have come from corporate America, or you may come from the real estate industry. I don't know. But what I had to do is just drop everything I know. You don't go to McDonald's and say, you know what, those fries are cooked on 2 degrees, I need on 10 degrees. Like, you don't change their marketing system, right? Their franchise system. So this system works. This system works, and it's some great stuff. And when I really understood the match out system, because I'm constantly recruiting every day, because again, I came here because I want to build. I was already producing, but I want to build, and producing is going to come with that. But when you just lay down everything that you know, don't wear your emotions on your sleeves, because things are going to happen. We're all working with people, right? Things are going to happen on a daily basis, but just focus on your goal. You're going to win here. I see the people that really get frustrated and don't win are those who worry about the small stuff. So follow the system and you're going to be great. So that's it for me. Before I turn over to the great Dan Charlier, I just want to say, it's just been a pleasure just meeting Dan virtually. I haven't met him personally, but I can't wait to meet him. But one thing I really, really appreciate about Dan is that he has so many attributes that are great. But one thing that I really appreciate about Dan is that he believes in appreciating everybody. I think about Dan is way up here, right? But he knows exactly what's going on down here. And that says a lot when you're a leader at that level. And Dan knows how much I'm making before I know how much I'm making. or Dan knows that I'm got to the next level before I know. And for him to call or text, like if you're a senior leader and you can just grasp that, because I'm not a person that needs to be stroked, oh, great job. But like Dan always says, everyone loves to be appreciated. And when someone at that level can appreciate someone at my level, oh my God, that's just icing on the cake. So I just want to turn it over to the great Dan Charlier, and thank you so much.
All right, Monica. I'm so proud of you, young lady. So proud of you. Just hit your milestone of 50,000.
Yes.
And I got a feeling you're going to make an aggressive move to 100,000. And we're going to be talking about this in Hawaii in 2022, Hawaii. So we talked about your goals.
Yes.
We talked about your goals last week. And I just want to tell you, we celebrate you. We're so proud of you. This is just the beginning. One day you're gonna look at this, you're gonna go, man, I'm making this a week now. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
You got to get your head grasped around that. So I'm excited this morning, you guys. Great job to all the people We've had so many great stories of people doing some incredible stuff in the month of May, payday May. May is over. And one of the things I would remind you of, you can't get upset at yourself for the work that you have not done, right? You can't get, so some of us are sitting there, we're upset, but we didn't put no work in last month. So it's always great to recognize the people that are putting some work in. But this morning, I want to talk to you guys about moving forward. June, you know, they say June gloom. I want to tell you a quick story real quick, right? So my wife has been prospecting for months, right? The last 6-7 months she's been prospecting. And so the other day we were in the car and she was telling me, she says, babe, what's the process of prospecting, right? So one of the things that I want to talk to you about is, and I'm gonna get into detail about this, is that in prospecting, there is a strategy in prospecting. You know, we talked about, we gave some ideas on prospecting online, of some go-to meetings online, where you can go to meetings online and you could do that. But as we're opening up more now and people are out more now, there's a great opportunity for you to prospect. I think prospecting, if you do it in your natural format of what it is that you like to do. I'll give you an example. When I was, this is years ago, back in the probably late 90s, probably 97, the first time I got prospected, you know, I was taking Justin and Brianna, just had lunch with Justin and Brianna yesterday with the boys. And they were I think Justin might have been 6 or 7 years old and Brianna might have been 3 at the time, or, you know, I might get the ages messed up. But I was off at work. I was off at work because at the time I was working in the Marine Corps, and I was taking my kids to a Burger King, right? And it was one of those Burger Kings that had the indoor playground, right? And I took them there, and I was sitting there reading a book, and this lady approached me, and she says to me, she says, very rarely do I see a dad in the middle of the day spending time with his kids and reading a book. What do you do? And I said, oh, I'm in the Marine Corps. And she said, oh my God, my mentor was in the Marine Corps, right? And she said to me, our company is growing and expanding, and we're looking for some sharp people, right? And my mentor told me, if I see anyone sharp like you, to get your name and number, because his company is expanding and growing. And I remember sitting there, and I wasn't skeptical. I didn't have any objections. I remember sitting there thinking to myself, oh my God, I have just been discovered. That's like the first thought that came to my mind. So I gave her my name and number, and literally the next day, her RVP called me, right? Her RVP called me, and that's how I got recruited into Primerica. And you guys, I'll tell you that story in a different day. So my wife and I are in the car, and I told my wife, I said, babe, when you read the business format system, right? Because she's reading the business format system, and I was explaining to her the keyword form, right? F stands for family, right? O stands for occupation, right? M stands for form, FOR. R stands for recreational, and M stands for make a contact. We were talking about that, right? So one of the things from a strategy standpoint, and just from like Sophia loves to do, right? She loves to take the kids to the park in the afternoon, right? So she either takes them to the park or she takes them to the beach, right? Every afternoon at 3 o'clock. That's like her normal routine. So one of the parks that she goes to is a park maybe about 3 miles from the house in Beverly Hills, right? So literally every day we had a party, we had a fight party last night. At the house. And after the party was all over with, she says, darling, I said, yes, baby. She says, do you realize that 7 of the people that were at the party last night were all my prospects? I prospected all, I prospected all of them, right? And it's interesting. It's we're creating a new list, which is extremely, extremely powerful, right? And I want to tell you that as you're building your business, and we're going to talk about this, as you're making a move, you want to create a new list, right? Some of us are calling the same people over and over and over again. You got to create a new list, right? You want to still follow up with the old, but you got to create a new list. Who's the next 8, 10, 15 people that are on your list? Because when you're turning strangers into friends, right, that process alone takes a long time, right? When you turn strangers into friends, right? So you have to have that new pipeline of new people, right? New relationships that you're building, right? And creating a new environment around you, which is extremely powerful. Now, what I want to talk to you about this morning, and I'm going to go into a little bit more detail about that. What I want to talk to you about this morning is that one of the biggest questions that I get all the time is Dan, how do I work on my identity, right? And we talk about the 5 people that you associate yourself with, right? We talk about the books you read and the tapes you listen to. But I want to share something with you. Carnegie Institute Technology, if you pull up my PowerPoint, Carnegie Institute Technology, they did a report and they said 85% of your financial success, 85% of your financial success is directly connected to 5 specific skill sets and habits. 5 specific skill sets and habits, right? No, don't move forward yet. Don't move forward yet. Let's stay on that for a second, right? So I want you to think about it. If 85% of your financial success is directly connected to these 5 skill sets and habits, as I go through these skills with you, it's really, really important to ask yourself some very powerful questions. And what are you doing right now to personally improve in those areas? So yesterday morning, one of our friends, another prospect that my wife had prospected, our friends in Texas, right? So when we went to Texas, when we went to Austin, we attended this beautiful, beautiful church in Austin, Texas, and we met the pastor, both of the pastors and their wives, because they're friends of our friends that another couple that my wife had prospected, right? The one that we were in Vegas with a couple weeks ago, right? So she was in town. She was in town. She reached out to Sophia because Sophia and actually me too, but Sophia and her, they created a challenge that can we read the Bible in 12 months. So we have like a Bible app, and every day it pops up on our phone and we read different verses. We're reading the Bible and all this stuff. So they have an accountability system that every day they're checking off with each other. Did they read their reading for that day? So she was in town. She called us and she says, we're in town and we want to take you guys to church with us, right? So we like, oh, awesome, right? So we meet him in LA. We go to this really cool church yesterday morning, right? So we walk in church and Sophia's talking to her, and her daughter's taking Preston, Matthew, and Danny. It's taking them to the part of the church where they have the youth ministry, right? So we're talking, and all of a sudden I hear Dan Charlier, and I turn around. It's this young lady, right? I said, I guess you know me, right? And she goes, oh my God, Dan, you changed my life. When I was 19 years old, I was part of the Bay Shop. You probably don't remember me because I didn't do anything, but I tell you, so she was on a team when we were in Ontario, right? Which was a long time ago when we were in Ontario, and right in the beginning of the Chino, right? You know, I end up quitting WFG and I went to another, I started my own agency with a big contract and I went out of business my first year after doing that. She's like, Dan, every single thing you told me was true. Right? And she ended up having a lot of personal problems. She went through a divorce and all this stuff. She says, but she's doing good now. And everything she learned was from when she was in the base shop of personal improvement. So of course I introduced her to Sophia. So Sophia went in prospect mode, right? And Sophia was like, it's never too late to start. You're young, you know, we've got a lot of momentum. There's a lot of people doing really well. And she knew Nate Ireton, she knew Paul Ireton, like all the names of all the senior leaders. She was around when they were in the base shop. Just like there's people that's listening right now, you know, 5 years from now, 8 years from now, they're going to be like, man, I remember when Tanisha Lafayette was an MD. I remember when Monica Carter was an MD and all of this stuff. And they says some people will quit and eventually, you know, they'll run into you. And I could see as I was talking to her, there was this regret. Remember what I talked about, right? Discipline weighs ounces, regret weighs tons. I get a chance to see it all. And yesterday it just reminded me. I was like, man, you know, I don't know if she's gonna get started with us again, but man, it was just amazing. And I was thinking about it, when we talk about this is your shot at the big time. This is your shot at the big time. A lot of people get distracted. A lot of people quit. A lot of people, you know, think that the grass is greener on the other side. And these are all mistakes that people do in business, which is, you know, it's sad, but it's the truth, right? So let's talk about these 5 skills, right? So the first skill I want you to look at in growing your identity is this, right? Remember we talked about 85% is work ethic. 85% is work ethic, right? So at the end of the day, I want you to ask yourself a question right now. Are you working as hard as you possibly can? Are you working? And that's the edge. In every industry, that's the edge, right? Right. One of our really good friends, he just released 3 movies on BET, right? Started his movie company from scratch. And this summer, he told me, he was at the house last night. He was telling me, he's like, Charlier, he's like, this summer, man, I'm releasing 5 freaking new movies, man. I'm working 17, 18-hour days right now, right? He said, I'm on a grind. And work ethic applies to everyone, right? So if you have a challenge, if you're not flat out working hard right now, right? It's hard to grow your identity without working hard. See, there's a part of it, and Malet talked about this a little bit on his Instagram the other day, right? There's an edge, right? Winners have an edge. Like when everybody else is playing, when everybody else is distracted, they have an opportunity to lock in and be super focused. I'll give you an example, right? Last night, so one of the guys that my wife prospected was he was married to Zsa Zsa Gabor, right? He was married to her for like 35 years, right? He's German. And so he was sitting there, and they call him, he's a prince, right? So the prince was sitting next to me last night, right? And we were just having a conversation, right? And someone offered him a drink. And he said, Charlier, he says, you know what's always been my edge? He said, my edge has always been, I've always kept myself in really good shape. I've always drank a lot of water, and I would attend a lot of parties because, you know, my wife, right? He says, I would attend a lot of parties, but while everyone was partying, I was always strategizing. He says, I would get up early in the morning, and by the time everybody got up, right? Because they get up late, Hollywood gets up late, I'd have made all my money, right? So 85% is work ethic, right? Now, if you're trying to find a shortcut, if you're trying to find an easier way to do it, right? You guys, in order for you to get really, really good at this, right? For you to get really good at the fast start, in order for you to get really good at the interview, doing an interview, in order for you to get really good at making phone calls and setting up appointments, in order for you to get really good at getting referrals, really good at getting across the kitchen table, right? There's 3 specific stages you got to go through. There's 3 specific stages. So the first stage you're going to go through is the awkward stage. And that awkward stage is that you're not really that confident in making calls. Like, you know the script, you memorize the script, right? But you're really not that confident in making calls. And people can kind of tell you're brand new. I'll give you a quick story, right? So I get this cold call last week, right? And you guys know I get up early, right? So it's this lady from this marketing firm. She says, hello, can I speak to Dan Charlier? I said, who's this? And she said, this is so-and-so from this marketing firm where they're selling leads, right? And she starts talking to me on the phone. And I noticed, I had just came out of meditation. I noticed she had like a really kind voice, right? So usually I hang up on people. I don't even take those calls, right? But I noticed her voice was really kind. And I said to her, how long have you been doing this? Because I could tell she was in the awkward stage, right? I said, how long have you been doing this? And she says, this is my first day. I said, this is your first day? I said, can I ask you a question? How did you get my number? She says, well, they gave me a list of WFG to call the leaders and to call the people in WFG. I said to her, they gave you a list? You have a list of our numbers? And she says, yes. And then I said, I've been doing this for 23 years. I've got thousands of agents, and you're calling me. And she goes, oh my God, are you serious? I said, is this your first call? Right? She goes, yes, it's my first call. I said, your first call, and you call me, right? So I ended up being really nice to her, and I gave her some suggestions on what she should do and who she should call and all of that stuff. And I told her she could use my name. But see, she's got thousands of calls that she's going to make, right? But that first call is an awkward call, right? So I could tell in her language that this was new to her, right? Now, you're going to go from awkward, mechanical to natural, right? In order to go from awkward, mechanical to natural, here's what I want you to write down. Repetition is the mother of all learning. Repetition is the mother of all learning, right? So if you don't want to do the reps, like if you're playing baseball, you don't want to do the reps. If you're playing basketball, you don't want to do the reps. How are you ever going to get in that natural stage? See, the first time someone gives you an objection, right? The first time someone gives you an objection, you might not know how to handle it because you're in an awkward stage. But after you do 100, 200, 300, 400, 500 appointments, you do 100, 200, 300, 400, 500 calls, right? You're going to be able to answer those objections, right? In a very natural stage. So when you're seeing someone that's a pro at what they're doing, they have the ability to make it look easy because they have more reps than you, right? There's no shortcut, right? So some of you that are waiting till you get perfect before you experience that, that's just fear, right? So when I say work ethic, let me be specific. You got to work hard at the right things. You got to work hard at the right things, right? Making phone calls, one-on-ones, kitchen tables, and fast starting new recruits, right? So the second one is your communication skills, right? From a scale of 1 to 10, how are you in your communication skills? See, if you're going to build a team, right? If you're going to build a team, right? you got to become a great communicator, right? I remember early on, right? And you've ever had somebody say something to you and you get really upset inside, they get you all pissed off and all of this stuff. And I remember Ed did a training. He says, whenever someone else gets you pissed off because they say something and you get angry and you can't come back. If someone says to you, oh, is this some scam? Is this some pyramid deal? Blah, 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 all this stuff. And you get all defensive and get pissed off, right? You've reached a point where you cannot communicate past. That's why your emotions, that's why when they said emotions goes up, intelligence goes down, right? So you got to work on your communication skills. You got to be able to communicate better, right? So from a scale of 1 to 10, how are you in your communication skills? When someone gives you an objection, someone tells you that, hey, I can't come to convention, or I can't come to kickoff meeting, or I can't be on Zoom, or I can't do a one-on-one, I can't schedule appointments. How are you in communicating, right? And sharing an idea with someone, right? And getting them to see things from a different perspective. Give you an example. So 1998, right? I'm in the Marine Corps. I'm broke. I'm living payday to payday, right? And it's convention time. And I literally, in my mind, I cannot see a way where I can go to convention, right? Because convention meeting, I got to go to Vegas. I got to get a hotel room. I got to have food. I got to have clothes to get dressed up, all of this stuff. And literally, I cannot see a way to get there, right? So Ed had which I suggest that you guys do, Ed had a board in his office with everyone that's registered for convention and everyone that's not registered for convention, right? And I want you to write this down, right? One of your job is to become a great director of motivation. See, a lot of times we think we have to become great motivators, right? If you have the ability to be a great motivator, that's great. But you don't have to be a great motivator. You have to be a great director of motivation. What that means is, and you'll hear this, your ability to mobilize from one big event to another big event will determine on how big you build the team, right? So we focused on that. We focused on mobilization. And right now, as of the first day of the convention, right, out of all the teams in WFG, we're right now the number one out of all the teams in WFG, right? Now we've got to keep that up. Now, what I want you thinking about is this. Do you know in your base shop, if you're a senior associate, if you're an MD, right? When I was having lunch with my son yesterday, Justin says to me, Dad, I got 3 people registered. I said, great, man, you got to get to 10, right? Now, you should know every single person. If you recruited 10 people last month, if you recruited 20, 30, are those people registered for convention? If they're not registered for convention, do you know what system do you have in place that they're not registered, right? So Malet has this board up and he sees my name, I'm not registered. So now as a leader, he has to have a conversation with me, right? He has to be able to communicate with me and get me to change my perspective, because I thought I can't afford to go to the convention, right? And he was thinking, this guy can't afford not to go. I was thinking I can't afford to go. He was thinking the fact that you're a grown man, you're 32 years old, and you can't go to a convention, you can't come up with a couple of $100 to go to a convention, is the very reason why you need to go. Right? But he had to be able to communicate that with me. So after I sat down with him, right? He sat down with me one-on-one and actually closed me, right? Through his communication on why I can't afford not to go, right? And guess what I did? After that conversation, I decided, you know what? I'm going to convention, and I figured it out. Well, let me ask you a question. From a scale of 1 to 10, how's your communication skills? right? Third one is personality, right? Now, your personality, we talk about people will hang out with you because they like you, right? They'll do business with you because they trust you. There's a difference, right? But in order for someone to trust you, right, especially when we're going from cold market, turning cold into warm, friendship forming, right? Well, guess what? You have to have a likability factor about you, right? Your personality, right? There has to be a likability factor with you. Because if I like you, I want to hang out with you more. I want to spend more time with you, right? So if you have a personality that people don't want to be around you, maybe one, you're offensive, maybe two, you're rude, maybe three, you're disrespectful, right? All of these things people don't want to be around. Maybe you're negative, right? People don't want to be around negative, disillusion. See, people want experiences. They want to have experiences, which is incredible, right? So when you can create, when you have a personality, you work on your personality, right? I remember this is an area where I had a challenge with, right? Because when I was in the Marine Corps, the Marine Corps, I mean, ever since boot camp, they never allowed us to smile. You were never allowed to smile when you're in the military, right? When you're in the military, if you start to smile, they'll be like, what the hell are you smiling at? Take that freaking smile off your face, right? So like this. So when I started, and then also growing up in Brooklyn in the inner city, you're not walking around, you're not on the train station smiling at people, right? People just think that's weird. They're like, the hell are you smiling at, right? So I grew up with that mindset. So my first couple of years in business, I actually had to learn to smile. So to me, it didn't seem like anything, but everybody, when they looked at me, they would go like, man, Charlier always looks upset. He always looks mad, right? And it wasn't that I was mad. It wasn't that I was upset. I just never smiled, right? So that was something with my personality. I realized that I had to smile more. And if you read The Magic of Thinking Big, one of the things it talks about is your ability to smile, right? It warms up the room, right? So scale of 1 to 10. How are you personable, right? Are you personable, right? In prospecting, in building relationships, in building a team, you got to have a personality. See, if you're constantly recruiting people, right? So let's say you're constantly recruiting people, you're getting in 10, 20, 30, but the size of your team is not growing, there might be a personality issue. You follow me on that? So there was a time for me, I didn't understand the 6 human needs, right? So I was recruiting a bunch of people, but if they weren't action oriented people, I blew them out. I absolutely, if they were a relationship, they were analytical, I blew them out because I didn't have a personality that can attract those kind of people, right? Because I was very judgmental, right? Because I just believe that, hey, they're not going to make it anyway, so I blew them out, right? So I had to learn that. I said, well, no, that's actually not a good thing, right? Because if you're doing all this work, you're recruiting, but you cannot retain people, right? At some point, it's not everyone screwed up. Maybe you have to take a look at yourself and you got to go, at what areas can I grow in? What areas can I improve in? Right? How am I working to grow my personality? Right? Now, that goes both ways. You gotta have a personality where you could build relationships with your team. Also, you have a personality where you could build relationship with your upline leaders, right? With your upline leaders. You should be getting along with your upline leaders, not fighting with your upline leaders, right? Number 4, negotiating skills, right? Hey, you got to have great negotiating skills. The other night, we had a dinner. With the March Madness qualifiers, right? So it was such a great dinner. Nikki and Kermit was there, my wife and I, and all the leaders were there that qualified, right? So afterwards, we we came to my backyard at my fire pit, right? So we sit at my fire pit, and all of a sudden, Christine Smith, right? Christine Smith, she's like, Coach, right? She starts negotiating, right? She's like, Coach, she's like, Miami. She's like, I gotta go to Miami. There's gotta be something I could do to go to Miami. So Christine's about to hit, she's already got all the business in. She's about to hit her $100,000 ring, right? So I said, Christine, I said, yeah, nothing's impossible. And she was like, really? I was like, yeah, nothing's impossible, Christine. I says, I tell you what, you get your second diamond by August, right? You get your second diamond by August, I'll take you to Miami. She's like, you serious, coach? You serious? You serious? If I get my second diamond, it wasn't like, she wasn't even thinking about, will she do it or not? She was like, I'm going to Miami, right? So her boyfriend says, oh my God, my girl's already intense. She's already working hard. She's like, oh my God. She's like, I'm definitely not going to see her now, right? So, but she was negotiating. She was negotiating. So you have to work on your negotiating skills, right? Everything's negotiable, right? So when you're sitting across the kitchen table with a family and people give you rejection, right? Or someone says something about the company, right? Your ability to negotiate is very, very powerful. Now everybody's going to try to negotiate with me about Miami. Here I go. And the last one is your leadership skills, right? Which is one of the things that we train on at Lead Circle, the Next Level Growth Academy, right? The Growth Academy. We work really hard on your leadership skills, because if you want to build a team, well, guess what? You got to have some leadership skills. That's all part of leadership. So my question to you is this, right? If 85% of your financial success, right? 85% of your finance. So you're at 50,000, you want to get to 100. You're at 0, you want to get to 50, right? You're at 100, you want to get to 200. You're at 200, you want to get to 500,000, right? If 85% of your financial success is determined based on these 5 skill sets, right? What are you doing right now to improve your skill sets in those areas, right? Now, a lot of us right now, we got a lot of people winning. WFG's got a lot of momentum right now. As a company, we got a lot of momentum. As a team, we got a lot of momentum, right? But when you think about momentum, right? Just like we have a lot of momentum, there's also a lot of people on here that has no momentum, right? So they're in a stage where we call plateau, right? What is a plateau, right? A plateau is a state of little or no change following a period of activity or progress, right? So you might be sitting there today and you're looking at the leaders bulletin and you're looking at all the people winning and you're a team player and you're happy for others, you're clapping. There's a saying that go, we clap onto others as we would like others to clap on for us, right? So you got to celebrate other people's success, right? Because if you can't be happy for Jing Ho that's teeing it up right now, you can't be happy for Nikki Cannon. Nikki Cannon just had a breakout month, right? You can't be sincerely happy for them, right? And we use the word hate, right? And you're jealous, you're envious of other people's success, right? You're going to stay in a plateau because that energy is not going to allow you to get out of plateau stage. Let me tell you why. See, when you're in that plateau stage and you got bad energy, you ain't got nothing going. Like you look at your schedule this week, you have no appointments this week. You don't have 10, 15, 20 people confirmed to the BPM, right? You haven't got a WFG check in so long. You don't even know what it is. You still show up to the meeting, right? But you show up to the meeting, your camera's off, you're still in your jammies, you're still in your jammies, you're sitting on the couch, you passively listening to it, you're not really in the game. You know, there's people that's on the full-timers meeting this morning, they're in the game. They're not in the plateau stage, right? So you got to realize, hey, I'm in the plateau stage right now. I ain't got nothing going on. The team's winning. Everybody around me is winning, right? The company's got momentum, right? I need to hurry up and get out of this plateau stage. I need to June. You know, they say June gloom. You ever heard that? June gloom, right? So in June, it glooms in June, right? Well, words are very, very powerful. Words are very powerful. My wife and I, we were on our way somewhere last week, right? And I was telling her about, because it was hazy out, right? I said, darling, I said, you know, they call June gloom because of the haze and all this stuff, right? And she turns around, she looks at me, she says, darling, it's June boom, not June gloom, right? So imagine if your June was your boom. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about it. I'm not announce a contest, right? So if you're in that plateau stage, you got to make an aggressive vertical move, right? To go from plateau to surge, right? To go to plateau to surge. So what is surge? Surge is a sudden, powerful forward upward movement. A surge is a sudden, powerful forward upward movement. Right? We're going to talk about it. He say, I'm in a plateau right now. You can own that. Says, but June is about me surging. I'm coming out of this. I'm going to surge in June, right? I'm going to give you some ideas on how to go from plateau to surge, and then from surge to go from explosion. To go from surge to explosion, a violent expansion in which energy is transmitted outwards as a shock wave, right? When are you going, not physically explode, but when is your business going to explode, right? So imagine Patrina in San Diego right now. Patrina, we're going to be in San Diego in a couple of days, right? Imagine Patrina right now, right? Patrina, like, if you anticipate it, say, I'm getting ready to explode. They're getting ready to see something that they've never. And I remember Marlette saying that to me. He said, Charlier, what if you could turn your annual income? At that time, when he was telling me this, I was sitting at 0, right? And he said, Charlier, he said, you ain't got to believe this, dude. You ain't got to believe it. Your mind's going to reject it, right? Your mind's going to reject it. But I want to tell you how powerful your imagination is. Albert Einstein said, imagination is more powerful than knowledge. He said, I just want you to imagine this. Allow yourself to think about it. And at the time, listen to this, you guys, just to put it in perspective. At the time, I'm renting a room in someone else's house. My friend Angie Kardashian, right? I'm renting a room in someone else's house. I'm paying $400 a month. Actually, my wife and I are taking Angie out to dinner on Wednesday night. She's driving up from Orange County. She wants to meet Sophia, so we're taking her out to dinner, right? So I'm renting a room in her house. Marlette says to me, Charlier, I know you got a lot of things going on right now. I know you can't see it, but dude, just allow yourself to think about it. He said, what if it's possible that you could turn your annual income and turn it into a monthly one? Oh my God. Did my mind reject it? Yes. Did I say there's no way? Yes. But I started to think about it. I started to imagine it. I started to go, man, what if? What if? And then it happened. The explosion happened.
And see, when that explosion happened, it happens in a 30-day period. See, Think and Grow Rich talks about once you make that decision, it happens after the decision, right? How do you know you made a decision? You know you made a decision when it's backed up with massive, massive immediate action, right? Now, I want you to also understand there's exponential growth. It's exponential growth. It doesn't have to be gradually over a period of time. There's exponential growth. Exponential growth, growth whose rate becomes ever more rapid in proportion to the growing total number of size, right? So the business format system talks about exponential growth, right? Now, in order for you to explode, here's what needs to happen. There's going to have to be 100% focus. Like you see Nikki Cannon now, right? Nikki, when we talked about Payday May, when we talked about take your highest, so let's say, for example, your highest personal recruiting. So let's say your highest personal recruiting was 3 recruits. You've been here for 3 personal recruits. You've been in WFG for like a year or 2 years. Your highest was 3. Let's say your highest production was 10,000 points. Let's say your highest cash flow was 1,000, right? And you decide, you know what? I'm going to create a new watermark, right? I talked about it last month. It was in one of my trainings, right? Talked about that last month. Nikki was at the fire pit one night. Nikki was like, you know what, Dan? I got to grow. I got to explode. I got to make an aggressive freaking move. I got to do something I've never done before, right? I said, well, Nikki, you could talk about it or you could be about it, right? And let me tell you, you think this month, wait till you see what happens. You think last month with Nikki, wait till you see what happens this month, right? And all of a sudden, she makes a decision. She has her highest cash flow month, right? Same thing with Jing. You watch Jing, Jing's doing the same exact thing, right? She has her highest cash flow month, highest production month, recruiting, right? All of a sudden, she's speaking at the convention. All of a sudden, she's at the last week. She went to the 100th anniversary of Black Wall Street. All of a sudden, all these things are happening. Then WFG calls her, and she's going to be in Forbes magazine, right? Which is incredible how she's creating momentum in her business. She went from plateau to surge to boom, create an explosion in her business. Now, here's what I want you to know. Here's what Nikki's doing, you guys. Nikki's working her butt off. That's what she's doing. She's working her butt. The other night, she was at fire pit at 12 o'clock. I was like, damn, Nick, I ain't never seen you stay out so long. Yeah, because she's fading at night because she's working her butt off. If you talk to Kermit, you talk to her husband tells you, Nikki goes in the office in the morning, don't come out till at night. She's grinding. There's no shortcut to it, right? But with the decision, right? You make that decision and you accept it. Now, does it mean that you're going to have to do that your whole life? No, not going to have to do that your whole life. But there's going to be a period of time where you're obsessed in your business and you're 100% focused with no distraction. Now, let me give you some goals, right? If you want to make that move, you decide, you know what? I want to make that move. In the month of June, I want to challenge you to do at least 10 recruits in your base. If you're a senior associate, if you're a training associate, MD, SMD, you do 10 recruits. You get to 10, right? In order for you to get out of plateau, to get to surge, you got to do at least 10. So June, July, you do another 20. I'm going to show you how to go from 10 to 20. Because some of us, we get stuck at 10, but we can't get to 20, right? In August, you go out and do 30.
recruits. So 10, 20, 30. Now, how do you get from 10 to 20 to 30? You got to master the fast start. You got to master the fast start. Filters 5 through 8 in the fast start, right? Now, we talked about the mindset of attending all meetings. These are 7 key things that your new recruits, your communication skills, you got to get good. So right now, at our full-timers right now, you should be thinking, how many full-timers do I have in this meeting right now? How many people can be at the meeting, but they're not at the meeting right now? Right? So if I'm Monica Carter, I'm looking at this list, I'm going, how many full-timers do I have at this meeting? If I'm at the BPM, I'm thinking, how many of my teammates are at this BPM with guests? If I'm in general training, I'm thinking, how many of my teammates are in general training? And the ones that are not in general training, where are they? Right? So attending all meetings is a must. If you're going to build a team, if you got 20 people on your team and 3 of them are showing up to meetings, right? You only got 3 people on your team. Right? If you got 20 people on your team, 5 of them are registered for convention, the other 15 that's not registered, they're going to disappear. And I did a training on the importance of attending meetings, right? From a scale of 1 to 10, how's your communication skills? How's your negotiating skills on getting people to attend meetings, right? 2, you got to develop a prospect list. So my wife and I, like I have a list of all the new people that my wife and I process. It's more Sophia. She's prospecting. Like Alexia, I got all the names right in front of me. Alexia, she sits on the board for BAFTA, right? She's at BAFTA is like the Oscars for London, for Europe. She sits on the board. My wife is friends with her now. She comes over, they have wine. She's on our prospect list, right? She brought a guy last week here. His name is JC. He just opened up a 5,000 square foot real estate office in Beverly Hills, right on Brighton. She brought him, right? Alexia brought him. He's a new prospect. Last night, he was here, right? He was here last night. He brought his wife last night. His wife was talking to Elizabeth Poole all night, right? She's really nice. His wife's really nice. They're prospects, right? The prince that came over last night, Zsa Zsa Gabor's husband, he's now a prospect. He's on my list. He brought his business partner, another business partner. Actually, his business partner is the one that met Sophia, because he said Sophia looked like Anna Nicole Smith, because he was really good friends with Anna Nicole Smith. That's how they started the conversation. Well, he was here last night. Very prominent business guy in Beverly Hills. He's now a prospect. He brought his wife with him. His wife had a 2-year-old daughter. His 2-year-old daughter was playing with Amanda all night, right? He didn't end up leaving the house till 12 o'clock. He's a prospect. We have dinner with them on Thursday night. That's on my list, right? Then she met someone else that's a general in the German army, and his wife is an actress. His wife and my wife started talking. The general was over last night. We're talking the military. He flew F-16s. He was a pilot, right? He now works in DC. He's a prospect. He's on my list now. You follow me on that? So all of these people that you're meeting, you have to create a new top 25, a new top 50, a new top 100. Who are the people? And I can go on with this list, right? So it's very intentional. Also, as you're developing your list, what about the new people that are coming into your business? Your ability to go over the baseball example, you have to stage that conversation. That's part of your communication skills. That's part of your negotiation skills, right? Because a new associate might say, well, I don't feel comfortable giving you my top 100, top 25, right? You got to be able to communicate. right? So you got to paint the picture. Remember, the business format system says the leader paints the picture on how the team will be built, right? So your ability to talk to them about the baseball example, your ability to talk to them about the restaurant example, and get them excited about that list. They're excited. Everyone they know that's on their contact list, Facebook, Instagram, all of this stuff. Can you imagine all of these people? If you were getting married tomorrow, how many people would be at your wedding? 300 people. Well, that's your market. That's your market. We have a system. That's why we don't have to cold call. That's why we don't have to knock on doors. That's why we don't have to send out flyers. That's why we don't have to buy leads, because we have a system, right? Even if we go cold to get warm. You follow me on that? So Sophia was telling me yesterday, she's like, it's not about the prince. It's about the doors that he can open up. It's not about the general. It's about the doors that he can open up, right? So it's them or their market. You guys follow me on that, right? Master the invitation. Number 3, you got to master the invitation. That new associate got to master the invitation, right? They got to avoid the scenario of disaster, sell the dream with enthusiasm, right? Now, you're a new associate. You just recruited 10, 15, 20 people. And you say, oh, you know what? I got to work on retention because I'm losing a lot of people, right? I'm recruiting and they're dying. You want to know what's the corona in your business right now? You want to know what's that virus that's killing all the new people in your business right now? It's number 3. They're getting rejected. They're getting rejection, right? They're getting rejection. No one wants to be rejected. No one wants to hear no. So they're getting excited because they leave the meeting. They're excited. They go talk to the people that they know. Oh my God, this company, blah, blah, blah. Oh, it's probably one of these scams. It's probably one of these deals, right? They get that rejection and you don't hear back from them. See, because in your communication skills, in your negotiation skills, you forgot to tell them about the scenario of disaster, right? Remember, the number one thing is to keep people curious. See, there's something called, I was telling my wife this the other day. I said, babe, part of recruiting is entice and withdraw. Entice, I want you to write this down, entice and withdraw. People always want what they can't have. You follow me? So some of your new people, guess what? They're talking too much. They're talking too much. Your job is to get the appointment. That's it. It's not to go into who we are, what we do, trying to overcome objections and all that. You're talking too much. You're saying too much. Never present your information premature. Never present your information premature. Right? So like the other night, Christine Smith is at the house, right? So she tells me, she says, Dan, she said, I've been prospecting this guy for 8 years. He says he knows you, blah, 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 all this stuff, right? I said, what's his name? Said JC. Oh, yeah, I know him. I know him. I remember. I haven't seen him in 10 years. So I tell Christine, I said, she wants to tell me everything about him and all this stuff. I said, give me his number real quick, right? It's like, hey, Christine's a night owl, right? Her and her boyfriend, they were here like 1 o'clock in the morning, right? I said, give me his number. And I forgot, I think it was Kermit or maybe her boyfriend said, oh my God, you're going to call him right now? I said, yeah, I'm going to call him right now. I know him, right? So I called him. He was leaving a party. He said, yo, I'm going to call you back in 5 minutes, right? So he called me back. We were on the phone, right? We're on the phone. I got a relationship with him, right? Now he's taking Christine through the ringer, right? I get on the phone with him. I was like, yo, boom, boom, boom. We talk. Well, yesterday he comes by the house. I said, hey, swing through. We're going to watch the fight, blah, 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 all this stuff, right? And he used to be a boxer. He used to be a boxer too. So we watched one of his fights on YouTube after the main fight, right?
And he met some people, and then he ended up saying to me, he says, hey, I know your broker, she's working with me and all of this stuff. We're gonna get all that stuff done and all, right? It's, you guys, your job is to just set up the appointment. Get people in front of your leader. Use leverage. You want to know. See, early on when I learned this right here, you guys, you know what I got good at? And this is what you should be teaching your team. I got good at entice and withdraw. I never said that much. I'm brand new. I just got started. I'm not the person you want to ask questions to. But what I can do is I can get you a meeting with my mentor. I got great at getting people in front of my lead. I didn't want to go into WFG, what we do, overcoming objections, all this stuff. No. I want to avoid the scenario of disaster. And even if I knew how to overcome those objections, my identity wasn't there. I didn't believe it. You follow me? So people always still can disturb me by planting seeds. 4, what are your goals? Right? 3-3-30, 5-5-30, 10-10-30, 15-15-30, right? 5, are you field training? We talked about how to go from mechanical, right, to natural. You got to field train, right? So if you're in an awkward stage right now, how many appointments you got this week? Are you doing 5, 6, 7 appointments a day right now on Zoom, which easily can be done? Or you got 5, 6, 7 appointments this week, right? Are you in the field? If you're not in the field, you guys, you learn the business in the field. You don't learn this business over Zoom like this. You learn it in the field. I could teach you 1 hour in the field than 10 hours in the classroom. Right? So are you developing a culture in your business? Are you developing a culture in your business where people are getting in the field ASAP? Or are you developing a culture where people feel like, oh, I don't make any money because they don't see the value of field training, which is a huge mistake, and they just run in to get their license. And once they get their license, they don't know what to do. So field training, right? 6, remain this is all part of the fast start, you guys. You got to remain positive. You got to remain positive. Have a positive mental attitude at all times. Don't let negative people kill your dreams, right? So you got to always be speaking positivity into your business, speaking positivity into your life, right? And imagining that, hey, so early on when I got started in the business, was I making money? No, I wasn't making money. I was broke. I was living payday to payday. So when people were telling me, when people say, well, you ain't making no money, I say, I know. I'm not making anything right now. But you know what? I'm so excited. I have a mentor. You know how many people don't have a mentor? I have a mentor that's making over $50,000 a month. Over $50,000 a month. This was back in '98. It's a big freaking deal. I'm making $2,800 a month. I got a mentor that's making $50,000 a month that's working with me. Do you know how excited I was? How many of my friends can say that? None of them. I know I'm broke right now. I know I ain't got no money right now, but I got a dream. I got a mentor. I got an opportunity. I'm part of a community. That rhymes. I got an opportunity. I'm part of a community that believes in me, that encourages me, that doesn't define me based on where I'm at and what I got, right? And I'm going to change my life. A year from now, man, I'm going to qualify for Hawaii. I'm going to get my ring. I'm going to be able to retire my mom. Man, I'm going to have some savings, right? Have some goals. Get excited. Don't let disillusioned crybabies steal your freaking dream. Are you freaking kidding me? You guys, Wednesday night when my wife and I take Angie out to dinner, right? She was there. I was broke. I had nothing. I was paying her $400, living in a little 8x8 room in her house. She was there when I was saying all this stuff, right? She joined the business. She joined the business. You know what she told me on the phone? She says, Danny, because she joined the same exact thing, same exact time Louise joined. She goes, how's Louise and Steven doing? Oh man, Louise is CEO, blah, 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 all this stuff, right? And she says, I should have stayed in the business, huh? I said, well, Angie, everybody has their path. You know, everybody has their path, right? But she was there when I was saying all this stuff, right? Last one, you got to be coachable. You got to be coachable, right? So these are the 7 things that I want you to focus on for the fast start, right? Filters 5 through 8. You got to get better in these areas. That's why I've been training specifically on all of these things. Listen to the training over again. That's why we record this, right? You could have your team listening to all of this stuff, right? So let's review again. So June, July, August, 10 recruits, 20 in July, 30 in August that go to the fast start, right? Now, in the summer months, remember we talked about getting focused, right? In the summer month, it's starting to get hot. LA is going to open. Everybody's playing around. This is where you catch everybody. This is where you zero in. This is where you tighten up your game, right? You have some specific goals. You go, I'm going to do 10 recruits. I'm going to do 20 and I'm going to do 30. My explosion, and this is why I was telling Monica on the phone the other day. I was like, yo, Monica, here's what you got to do, right? 10, 20, 30, while everybody else is sleeping, while everybody else is distracted, while the 80%ers are doing what they do. If you're a 20%er, if you're a top 2%er, this is the edge. This is the edge. Right now is the edge. Going into June. It ain't June gloom, it's June boom. You follow me on that? Your explosion, here's when your explosion is going to happen. Your explosion, actually, it's wrong on the slide there. Is September, October, November. See, June, we're going to do June, boom. July, we got convention, right? August, boom, you dump 20 recruits on the month of convention. Come out of convention, we're going to have a strategy, 30 recruits in the month of August, right? Between you and your base shop. September, October, November, historically, is the biggest months in our business. It's the biggest months in our business. Everybody's back focused. No, go back. Everybody's back focused. Everybody's dialed in. Everyone's going to be competing for Hawaii, right? This is when you want to explode. You want to explode. Now you got the wind in your back, September, October, November. So I'm giving you a specific strategy, right? Now, here's one of the things I want to be part of your culture. See, because all of you are really nice. You're very boom, 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 all this stuff. I see the chats and everybody's excited, and that's awesome. I want you to keep that, right? But I also give you guys permission to hold each other accountable. Here's what I mean by that, right? Pull up my next slide. Here's what I mean by that. Your culture needs to have in the Marine Corps, we used to call it roll call, right? Where you at for the month? Yeah, where you at? Yeah, it's great to see you. Good morning, all of that stuff. But where you at? Where you at in recruiting? Where you at in production? Where you at in cash flow? There has to be that accountability. You got to have that accountability partner that's going to check you. I go, hey, where you at? Where you at in recruiting? Where you at on appointments? Where you at in production? Where you at in cash flow? Develop the culture in your business where you got a where you at mentality, right? Now, at the same time, here's the deal, right? Remember when I talk about Deion Sanders, right? They asked Deion Sanders, this is a young Deion. This is prime time, right? Guy said, Deion, every time I see you, you look so sharp. And Dion said, you know what? I learned early on in life, if you look good, you feel good. If you feel good, you play good. And if you play good, they pay good. Right? Now, all of that sounds great, but it's all higher vibrations, right? What are you doing right now to create momentum in your life? In spite of all the challenges that you have, in spite of all the family drama and all the stuff that you have, how are you going to create some momentum? How are you going to create that space where you feel good? You got to find an edge to create momentum. You got to find reasons to feel good, right? Go out and work out. Go out for a walk. Get some fresh air. Drink some water, right? Maybe tighten up your diet, right? Get around some good people. Get away from people that are dramatic, that's always got drama. All this stuff affects you whether you understand it or not. Pay attention to what you're listening to. Pay attention to what you're watching, right? It's all extremely important, right? Now, we're going to clap on for some people, right? Look at this. These are people making move. Look at Lauren Stein, you guys. Payday May. Lauren Stein, mother, daughter, wife, securities license, life license, helps everybody. She made a move. Last month, she made over 8,000 last month. She's just getting started. I'm so proud of Lauren. Lauren texted me. She's like, Dan, do you know how competitive I am? Right? I said, damn, Lo, you just got started, right? So we're so proud. We're celebrating her, right? She made her first $8,000. First 8,000, not first, but she made over 8,000. She hit a new watermark in WFG, which is amazing. So congratulations, Lauren. Look at the other, Brittany Mastro. Brittany, I was on the phone with Brittany last week. She's so freaking fired up. She's so excited right now. And I was giving her the same rundown I just gave you guys about the summertime. I said, Britt, this is the summer. You got to go 10, 20, 30, and then you gain momentum September, October, November. She's fired up, right? She's so excited, right? She had a record, 8,500. Then you got Alisa and Josie Gardner. They were at dinner with us. Man, Alisa's such a team player. And her wife, Josie, is just such great partners, right? They were having dinner with us. Alisa's like, look, everybody's sleeping on me, right? She's like, I'm the underdog. See, nobody saw me coming, right? They was just like, oh, Alisa's just doing PowerPoints. They didn't know what I was doing. She's like, well, Dan, when you talk about that Payday May, when you talk about making a decision, well, my wife and I, we made a decision, right? And then boom, they had their record cash flow months of 23,000. Then you look at for that month, congratulations. Then you got Nikki and Kermit. Look at Nikki. Nikki's like, hey, don't be calling me no OG. I'm not an OG. Are you kidding me? Right? Nikki's like, I got OG skills, but I got the spirit of a rookie, right? Man, I was looking at Kermit the other day. I was like, dude, you look like you lost like 15 pounds. And he says, yeah, man, I've been fasting. I got my diet down. I'm drinking a lot of water. He's riding his bike to work. He rides his bike 8 miles to work and 8 miles back just to get his exercise in. Right? And they're dialed in, right? Nikki has a personal trainer that comes to work with her and her team. Because she knows, she's like, if I feel good, I'm going to do good, right? Made over 56,000 last month. And she just got started, right? Which is exciting. Look at this. Look at Monica. You got a chance to hear from Monica Carter. Monica Carter just blew by her watch, right? Just got her $50,000 watch on her way to 100,000, right? Which is incredible. We're so proud of you and we celebrate you, Monica, right? Look at this. You got Tony and James Showblow. Look at it. Just got their second diamond. See, you get that watch, that's 50,000. You get your ring, that's 100,000. You only get one diamond in that ring. See, once you go over 200,000, you get your second diamond. Tony and James Shoplo just got their second diamond in Payday May. Look at this. You got Daniel Chandler Hope. They just got their second diamond, right? All Payday May. These are people. See, these are separators. These are people that are separating. I want you to see yourself separating, right? See, you guys, there's not a magic formula. Some of you guys are like, I wonder what they're doing. Let me tell you what they're doing. You guys, you realize I speak to a lot of teams, right? If you're wondering, what are they doing? Let me tell you what they're doing. They're working their ass off. That's what they're doing. Like you go talk to Nikki. Yeah, what did you do? What did you do last month, Nikki? I worked my butt off. That's what I did. Remember, 85% of your skill set, one is work ethic. They're working. When you're sitting there, you have no appointments today. They got 7, 8 appointments that day. That's what they're doing. They're working. Look at this. Mark and Dina Onstad. Look at it. Just got their 4th diamond. Just got their 4th diamond, which is incredible. Such a great job. Look at Joseph and Batshaba. Joseph and Batshaba got their EMD promotion. I met with them last week. Man, I tell you, Team Lighthouse, man, these leaders, man, they're so engaged right now. They're making an aggressive vertical move. We talked about that. We're so excited. See, but there's so much more room for all of us here, right? Now, I want you to save the date. I want you to save the date. Synergy Convention Kickoff, July 10th. Remember last year we did, what did we do last year? What was the name of the event last year? Who remembers the name of the event last year we did before convention? Pivot, right? So we're doing a pre-convention kickoff meeting, right? Christopher's going to come out with the registrations and all this stuff, and we got to mobilize our teams to that, right? We got to mobilize our team to that. It's going to be an incredible, incredible event. We're going to be doing recognition for the first quarter and second quarter of this year. We're going to have speakers. We're going to have all of this stuff. It's going to be freaking amazing. We're going to recognize the belt winners, which is going to be incredible. Just like Pivot was incredible last year, it's going to be our convention. A lot of people leave our convention, our team convention, and they literally feel that our team convention was better than the actual convention. So it's going to be amazing. We're going to celebrate you. We're going to have tons of awards, which is going to be exciting. Next week, you guys, look at this. Next week, we rented out. I don't know how big this house is, but it's at least 25,000 square feet, right? Got the whole house rented, 9 bedrooms, right? Elite Circle graduate, Next Level Growth Academy graduate, right? We're going to be at this house. We're going to be doing a retreat, right? For all the people that graduated Elite Circle and all the people that graduated Next Level Growth Academy, it's going to be an amazing mastermind, And we're also going to have some fun. We're going to be in the vineyards. We just got a really nice chef that's going to come out and cook Wednesday night for the welcome dinner on Wednesday. That's going to be incredible, right? See, this is why you got to go. You got to challenge yourself not to only to attend Elite Circle Next Level Growth Academy, but you got to graduate. We're going to have an award ceremony. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be mastermind, right? See, life changer. You make life-changing decisions not in your natural environment, right? And that's going to be awesome next week. We're doing that next week from I think Tuesday to Thursday, right? Which is going to be awesome, right? Then we got the Growth Academy. The Growth Academy. We're going to be in Miami Beach. That's going to be awesome. We're staying at the Betsy, which is an incredible hotel in Miami Beach, right? So all of you that graduated Growth Academy, right? you got your airline credit already. Get that stuff done. Don't wait till the last minute. Christopher already told you, hey, book your rooms, all of that stuff. We got all of that stuff done, right? That's going to be incredible. You can't afford to miss these opportunities. Just like you can't afford to miss Hawaii. That's going to be incredible, right? Now, for June Boom, those of you that are listening today and you want to make an aggressive move, at our kickoff meeting, we're going to have 5 recognitions. We're going to have bronze, right? Some of you are going to make a move in June. You're going to do 1-130. You might have 5 people in your base shop that you're going to challenge to do 1-130. Well, guess what? We're going to recognize them at our kickoff meeting. Some of you are going to be a little bit more fired up. And you're going to say, hey, you know what? I can do 3-3-30. Right? June ain't going to be no gloom. June is going to be a boom. I'm going to do my 3-3-30. Right? Some of you are you're a little bit more fired up. So I'm going to go for the gold. Why get bronze, silver? I'm going to get the bronze, silver, but I'm also going to get the gold. You're going to do 5-5-30, 5 recruits, 5 apps in these next 30 days. Some of you are on the platinum level, right? You're a little bit more aggressive. You know what? I'm going to have so many people in my base shop do 5-5-30. So many people in my base shop do 3-3-30. So many people in my base shop do 1-1-30, right? My base shop, we're going to do 10-10-30. I'm going to do 10-10-30 personally. I am my base shop, right? And some of you just want to go to a different level. Like the Tanisha Lafaye's, like the Monica Carters. You just want to go to a whole different level. You just like, hey, June, boom, I'm going to plateau, to surge, to explode. You follow me? And you're like, hey, you're declaring 25-25-30. Now, I want to stir up your competitive spirit. So you gotta be competitive. You got to see, in July, when we do our kickoff meeting, you're going to see all these people cross the stage. All these people are getting recognized for doing 1-1-30. All these people are getting recognized for doing 3-3-30. All these people getting recognized 5-5-30. All these people recognized at 10-10-30. Few getting recognized for 25-25-30. And you're going to be clapping and you're going to be so excited. See, I want you to see yourself different. I want you to see yourself, separate yourself, and then, hey, you got your 5-5-30. You got your 10-10-30. You got your 3-3-30, right? You get your award and all this stuff. You're excited. You made see, remember when I told you, when you make a decision, it's backed up by massive immediate action. What I want you to do this morning, hey, you got to decide. Hey, I'm making a move. This is June. May's gone. I can't be upset at May because I didn't do the work, but I'm going to do some work in June. I'm going to tee it up for June. So that's all I got for you guys this morning. Oh, by the way, convention registration updated. We're now at 239 convention registration as a team. I don't know where that places us yet. I got to check on that. But let's get everyone registered. Your entire team, let's continue to mobilize and continue leading the company in registrations for Vegas. All right, you guys, let's have an awesome week. See you guys at the top.
All right.